Hello, welcome to an update. It's the 4th, and I know that for a lot of people there's been a great deal of talk how important the 4th was. I certainly didn't get involved in that because the 4th was never going to be an important date in terms of what we would expect regarding President Trump or any of the other issues. The 4th was an important date for other things to happen behind the scenes which had to occur for it to move forward. So don't please expect anything on the 4th. That's why I didn't do anything about it, and I wasn't going to get on the bandwagon and raise people's spirits up or hopes up just to be dashed where if I would know that there wasn't anything really big supposed to happen. However, we have got some news which we can share. So first of all, let's just have a quick look back. Interestingly enough, we've got 17 of the US states that are now not requiring mask wearing and are opening up their shops. So all those people who had a real problem with the Q aspect, you really should know that number 17 is a very important number, and it's no coincidence that 17 of the US states have gone down that road. Also Switzerland, President Trump did in fact go to Switzerland, and there's a bit of an issue because some of the videos that are posted were indeed previous visits, and I think those videos tend to show Marine One. The information I received is that he flew in to Bern on Air Force One, and I presume he travelled by car once he was there. So there are some videos which I've been shown, and I think they're probably related to a previous visit. So the information I have is he did visit a couple of days back, and he did go in on Air Force One. You certainly wouldn't fly from Florida to Switzerland in a helicopter. So that's important because he had some big business to deal with, and some important papers to sign, which is a real impact for the very, very near future. And so how interesting that the day after this, Switzerland announces that it too will not require masks to be worn mandatory, and in fact non-essential shops can also open. So we really are being shown, I think, quite clearly who is the real boss here. Is it the person, whoever he might be, in Castle Rock in California, or is it actually President Trump? And clearly there's these 17 states who've stuck the proverbial finger, or if you're British, the two-fingered, the V sign, to the guy who was fraudulently elected, and they're just going to get back and get people's lives back to normal and get businesses back open and running, just as they have been to some extent in Florida, although there has been a lot of effect on Florida, of course. Just because they didn't have a mask or a lockdown in the true sense of the word doesn't mean businesses haven't suffered. But the important thing is that a number of states now, 17 of them, are insisting that they go back to some form of normality, and Switzerland, and there are a couple of other countries now that are also following suit. So we're beginning to see a real division between what I would call the deep state, the cabal group, who are insisting that we double mask and live in fear, and don't do anything, opposed to those who are much more free thinking, and realize that there has to be a balance struck between being sensible and cautious, but not destroying your nation's economy or your mental health or that of your children simply because of a fear-driven, cabalistic plan. So I wanted to talk about that. We understand that we probably will be going back to YouTube in April. The information that we've been receiving tends to make me think that we're not talking years before what we hope to see happens. We're not talking actually months. We are talking days and weeks before some very exciting initiatives take place, and we expect to be back on YouTube in April, and then we can see not see who's running YouTube, but see what the rules are then, see how they might have changed a little bit, Certainly we want to pick up back with the 3 million that we connected with prior to having to go on to BitChute and others. So we are looking at some very exciting imminent action regarding the economy of the world and regarding the politics of the world. And I am being careful. I'm not going to do anything that's going to make me not flavour of the month with certain individuals, because then I won't get any more information at all. So it's better to be cautious and give something away than get nothing. And we are looking at some very important times. March, the month we're in, we've just started it, should be a very big game changer. I believe it should be, on the information that I've received. So March should be very, very exciting. And then as we go into April, that momentum, that interest should continue to build. Now, it was last year that I and Becky were invited by the Taoist monks to go to their temple in Britain, their head office in Britain, to receive a Taoist blessing. And I was really, really very privileged to do that. We didn't, apply. Don't know how you would apply, but somebody came to us and said that they really wanted to put a blessing on us because the guy who was in charge of this temple said that, and remember this is last year, that March was going to be a very difficult, trying time. In fact, what he actually said was the run-up, including March. So literally January, February, March were going to be very difficult times, and they wanted to provide a blessing. They had looked at what we do at Connecting Consciousness and decided that Connecting Consciousness was a spiritual organization with a very strong future, and they liked what they saw, and they wanted to provide a blessing on us and on the organization, and we were very very grateful to receive that. But he did have intelligence, so that's not military intelligence, it's spiritual intelligence, and he was able to say, look, we've looked into the future and these are the difficult times, and we're very grateful and very humble that these people would want to do that. And just for clarity's sake, these are not part of the Chinese system, as part of the Tibetan system. The official Chinese government does not get on with the cultural or religious aspect of the Tibetan people. So the Taoist monks are not allowed in China. They're not allowed to have any temples in China, and that is why they've gone out into other countries that are more free and open. And we often talk about how spirit moves in the most amazing ways. And we were driving through the inner city up to this location, and we're on the motorway, and it was just a standard motorway, freeway if you're in America. Very drab, few trees, but mostly concrete buildings. And there was a little bridge across the motorway, a little footbridge. And as we approached it, there was a person leading two llamas on a rope. Now, it did say that llamas tend to originate from South America, but we always talk about the Dalai Lama from Tibet. And so it was really amazing how spirit moves. So we were driving to this Taoist blessing, and there was a guy with a bit of old rope leading two llamas across a footbridge, across a motorway in the most built up area you can imagine. So there was a sign, and we both looked at each other in the car and thought, yeah, we're meant to do this. We're meant to do it. So a lot of things are beginning to come into play now, and the information that I've received from a great number of people, some military, some not military, all pointing towards what I call a tipping point. There are a number of commentators who say the war's won, it's all over, just sit back and enjoy it. And I can't really sit back and enjoy it. I can't do that. I like evidence that the war's won. I'm just like you. Let's see the evidence. Let's get that through. I know what these guys are saying, and they're right. They are accurate. They're right. But I want to see things happening in the mainstream. I want to see that occurring. And, the information that we're getting is that March and April, we will begin to see things that even the mainstream can't block, can't hide. And that's very, very exciting. I want to thank all of my coordinators in Connecting Consciousness for your outstanding work. I understand and know that many of you have received abusive emails from angry people. You see, before this situation in America, we attracted spiritual people who understood the bigger game, shall I say. And then when we focused on America, we got a lot of people joining who just wanted the information, they wanted the intelligence, and they joined the organization thinking that that would somehow give them more information, and didn't like the fact that we have meditations, that we have group meetings, and so of course they got very cross and they would write a nasty email and then they would leave. My point here is that if you are interested in the latest intel, don't join my organization. Just listen to the podcast, listen to the information as part of your trawl through all of the speakers to get an overall picture of what's happening. But don't join, because what I want are people who are fully aware of what's going on in the world and are spiritually motivated, and they're not just living for the next soundbite of information. Just to give you the news, we hope to be going back on track to America. You remember I told you that we were planning to go to America, and then of course we had the situation with the COVID, the virus and the lockdown, and then we had the situation, politics in America. So the conversations we've been having now, it looks like we're sort of going back on track now. So that's looking more and more positive to pick up where we left off, to go to the States. We're hoping to go in the fairly near future for a week to do a fact-finding tour. Certainly want to look around Florida, very interested in Texas, and very interested in Arizona. So although it will just be 1 week's fact-finding tour as we go around those states, or one state, I'm very keen that the coordinators from surroundings would be able to meet up, physically, just for an afternoon or something like that, so we can at least have a chat. And then after that week, we plan to come back, having had our discussions and our talks and been shown what we needed to be shown. It's not a vacation. This is a work meeting, and then later on we would return for more fact finding, etc., etc. We do hope, and I absolutely hope, that in the new situation that we truly believe is coming, that Connecting Consciousness will be asked to play a role, whatever that may be, who knows. But we are very keen to be involved in humanitarian projects. We're very keen to be involved in spiritual projects, and we will be involved in whatever way perhaps the incoming new administration would seek to think would be useful. So all of those people who have stuck with us in Connecting Consciousness, thank you. And I hope that you will see that this was the right thing to do, that you trusted your heart or your soul or your higher self. You didn't just listen to the brain or what other people were saying. And those of you who left a rude or abusive messages and have left, I don't want you back. Please don't come back. You will have to do a lot of work on who you are and what has happened to you, and why you got it wrong and why others actually got it right. Because I understand to a certain extent that the world is in turmoil, but if you are connected to your higher self, you are able to punch through all of this fakery and see the truth. But so many people get hooked in on this and hooked in on that, and they see so much and they just get confused and angry and they want to lash out. Well, that's what a 6-year-old child does that doesn't necessarily get its own way in the candy store. And when you're grown up and an adult, that is not the way to behave. It's certainly not a spiritual way. It's not a professional way. It's not a spiritual way. We've been going 11 years now, and I'm heartened and pleased that a number of individuals have understood that connecting consciousness is a force to bring good to the earth. Just, I suppose, like that Taoist guy, there's the head of the Taoist sector in Britain, and he obviously wanted to recognise the work we do, and now others are doing so. And so that's why I say that whatever role we have and my coordinators have, they will be spiritual work, but in a very real practical way. And we stand ready to assist and to help any new incoming government, whenever that might be. We stand ready to assist and help, but we will not get drawn into the petty politics of it. We won't get drawn into attacking people or running people down or pointing the finger, and it's just pointless. And I let the comments go on this BitChute for a while, and I let people sort of just become more and more evil and more foul, just like President Trump does it to let other people see the evil that is exposed. But now, as we move towards what I call the final time in terms of this phase of human awakening, this is a positive final, not an ending final, but a final close of a rather difficult phase we've been in, and we're about to step through to a much more positive and beautiful time. Now, I've turned those comments off because, frankly, I'm now too busy dealing with all the things that I'm dealing with to even give a second's notice to people who spiritually are fractured, people who have a lot of healing to do on themselves. And as I say, when things begin to change and develop, which they're going to in a very, very short time, to those people who got it wrong, please don't try and rejoin Connecting Consciousness, because I don't want you. And those of you who are brand new to the organization and haven't been involved in any of the silliness, then you're very welcome to join, providing you understand that it's about service to others, not about service to self. This is about doing things for other people when other people need that help and assistance. It's not about holding somebody's hand forever. It's about assisting them in the short term so that they can then get on and do what they need to do. And I think the days are gone where the big corporates or private companies per se would be contracted to do that sort of work. I think in the future it's going to be spiritual or humanitarian organizations with a track record of not having any influence or connection with what I would call satanic or greed. So it is an incredibly exciting time. The information that we are receiving is very exciting and leads us, in Connecting Consciousness to believe that we are on the threshold of achieving something really quite exciting, not just for Connecting Consciousness, but for many people across the world. It's an exciting time because it means a new change, a new way, a new understanding of how perhaps as human beings we value each other. And hopefully we can move away from this desperate need to click on a YouTube video, then go and check the cell phone, then go and do this and go and do that, and spend our time just doing it and getting more and more chewed up inside. And then when things don't go the way we want them to go, to actually go crazy and let everybody know how crazy we are. That is not a fully formed human. Okay, that is a human that has got a lot of development yet to do. And hey, there's going to be plenty of time for those people who are in that stage to go through that healing and that process, and they can find themselves at the end of it. But those of you, and that's a lot of you, who are already there, understand it, know what to do, you're rolling your sleeves up and saying, right, what can I do to help? This is an exciting time. Let's just do this. We're all long past waiting. We all need to be given some exciting things to do. And I hope, because I can't say 100%, but I hope everything I'm picking up means that there are exciting times ahead. And we just get to wait just a few more days, a few more weeks. Certainly, I don't think years. No way. Months possibly, but I'm talking weeks really. And there will be changes that everyone who's got eyes and ears will have some cognizance of what is occurring. Remember that the bad guys only have the media. That's all they have now, just the media. And they are actually quite small. They've lost a lot of their power. Some of the key linchpins that held these people in positions of strength have been removed, and a lot of these bad guys are looking around seeing, well, where can they go? And some bad guys now are being shown to be good guys, or some people who weren't so good have decided that they want to be on the lifeboat. If the bad boat is sinking, they want to get on the lifeboat and paddle across to the other boat, which is the good boat. So there's a lot happening, and I just hope that we don't have to wait too long. So I just wanted to have a quick word, a quick catch up with you, and once again to all my coordinators. We have now 60,000 members worldwide, and I understand that you've been inundated with applications to join from good spiritual people who also like the news. They also want to hear the news. Of course they do. We all do. But are joining because they want to be of service, and they are beginning to realize that the world is changing, and being part of a spiritual organization that is also a practical organization is the way forward. I thank you for all your hard work, and I'm sorry that so many people who are just angry people have hit you with emails, but you know what to do. You just throw them off the organization. You write to them, or don't even bother. Just terminate them if they're abusive or rude. You just remove them from the database. You just remove them completely. And we put a little note, handwritten note, so that if somebody wants to be joined, then the answer is no. That is the way forward. I don't want anybody in our organization who's going to bring it down with low, dense energy. Not interested in that. We know where we're going. We know the high vibration that we seek. We know what's coming around the corner. And those of you who stayed true, thank you. I much appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.